Yeah.
We don't have any business. do we?
So right at the first and the fourth.
I was gonna say. Oh, yeah.
And Saint Jean Baptiste.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
We can go clear life.
A lot of holidays. That's fun, man.
Attention, please. We're calling the meeting of the regular meeting of the EDC to order. Rachel, would you please do the roll call?
Sherry Bouye,
Yeah.
Jim Ellis,
Here.
Nate Manette,
Here.
Clyde Rebedew,
Here.
Nick Russell,
Here.
Scott Gordon, and Melissa Mills are absent. Also present, Jeremy Evans, Paul Ellis, Rachel Cook, Rachel Child.
Thank you, Rachel. You've all seen the agenda in the email. Is there any adoption, excuse me, is there any changes or additions to the agenda to be considered? There being none, we'll assume that there's an order, there's a motion to accept the agenda. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Clyde, second by Nate. There being no discussion, we'll then move on to the vote. All those in favor of accepting the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Public comment. There being none, we'll move on to the approval of the previous meeting minutes of June 11, 2025. Copies of which you've all received. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections to those minutes of June 11, 2025? There being none, we'll assume a motion's in order to approve those minutes of the meeting of June 11, 2025. Do I have a motion to that effect, please? Nick, second. Excuse me. Anybody, second?
Yeah, I did.
Jerry? No discussion, therefore we'll move on to a vote. Could we have a motion to accept those minutes? Please signify by saying aye. Aye. Committee reports. Governance,
Nothing to report.
audit and finance.
Nothing to
Hello?
report.
Nick says there's nothing to report.
Nothing.
Nick says nothing to
I heard that.
report.
We have anything to report?
Loan.
Okay.
There's no loan.
Treasurer's report, Paul.
I got a loan update.
Okay,
So Sherry's deferring to me.
It's saying.
So we are closing tomorrow on Dallas Fi's loan. I had indicated to the board previously that as we like at Delhi, was their intention to pay the loan off early. They have paid their loan off, and that's all set.
Good.
I have touched base with a couple of our other loan recipients. I've met a couple of times with Max to see how things are going, and things seem to be going well. He had I guess, an open house this past weekend to try to promote movement of some of the consignment trailers that he has. He does not have a floor plan there. It's all related to consignments where he collects a commission off of it. And then one section of the lot is repair work that he's got lined up, and he's got a fair amount lined up. Everybody's payments are on time. We have one loan client that we've heard a little bit of rumors that there might have been a separation among family members. And so I'm scheduling a meeting with the one partner to see what the situation is. But all the payments are being made on a regular basis, so there's been no issues on that point. I'm just looking to get an update from them. So and that's
anything further, Paul?
what's that?
Anything further?
We do have in the hopper one request for a bridge loan related to our rail trail program. It would probably be a 12-month loan. It would be completely guaranteed by the grant. The award of the grant is about $31,000. She's requesting a bridge loan for about 28,000. There'd be a notice of assignment related to it that when the funds are released from New York State, they would be assigned to us to satisfy the loan, and any remaining proceeds would, from the grant would go to her. So, but that'll be at the next meeting.
Very good. Very good. Any questions of Paul? There being none, the motion is in order to accept the treasurer's report. May I have a motion to that effect, please? Sherry,
Barry,
second. Nick? All those in favor of accepting the treasurer's report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Right.
Opposed, nay? Okay, CEO report.
3 quick items. Number one will be talked about in a minute anyway. First, the Carrie Malone open house. Thank you to Nick and Melissa for representing us at that. We had a really good turnout. We had some folks that were actually there to see if they wanted to use it as a co-working space, which was great, and just a lot of goodwill and conversations with those who were in attendance. If you have any specific questions, we can ask Rachel, but the Resilient and Ready program, the biggest challenge has been getting homeowners to be able to get bids for work they need to have done in their house. This is not a new thing. We've tried to do extra outreach to generate interest from contractors with some success, but limited. However, Rachel noted that over the last few days, a number of homeowners have received bids, and that's going to help us move along and get a little bit out of a logjam. I will just mention, though, that even though it's the principal responsibility of the homeowner to find bids, Rachel has been doing a ton of work for many, many months trying to track down, shake down, cajole, whatever, contractors into giving bids for homeowners, because sometimes they just don't have the bandwidth to do it. They don't know who to contact. So it's their responsibility, but Rachel has been trying to help out as much as possible to move these along. And then finally, we have a resolution about this, but the Frontier Harvest Fund, which is our agricultural-based microenterprise proposed grant program in partnership with the county, and they could speak to it, but Nate and Rachel attended the legislative meeting a couple of weeks ago just to give them an update and get the go-ahead to move forward with the pre-application and a full application, which they did and which we are currently working on. I don't know if Nate or Rachel, either of you have any comments you wanted to share about that meeting, because I was not there.
Yeah, so real quick, first and foremost, Rachel's an absolute rock star. She did a really good job. Eddie Lockwood came back to the office, said every time you go in there, you absolutely kill it. So
Thank you.
she did a very good job.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my.
So at that meeting, we got their permission to submit the pre-submission. We've submitted it, and we plan on submitting the final application by the end of the month. So we've already been working on for several weeks now, everything that will be required for the application. And we got a decent amount of interest from local farms when we initially did outreach. And it was interest spread across the entire county, not just in the northern end. So we were really pleased with the results of that. So we're excited to apply.
Is the county involved, you said?
Yes,
So
they cannot directly apply. They are the
Oh, okay.
applicant.
Okay,
And so we are preparing everything on their behalf,
okay.
but it requires,
Oh.
their signature on
Yeah.
things and things like that. So the subrecipient agreement does leave a small amount of administrative funds for time that they may have to spend
Yeah.
processing disbursements and things of that nature.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Very good. Thank you so much, Nate, Rachel, appreciate it. Motion to accept the CEO report, please. Motion. Nate. Second, Nate. Any discussion? There being none, we'll assume the CEO report is ready for a vote. All those in favor of accepting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Very good. Old business?
None.
None. New business? Here we are. Can you walk us through the resolutions?
2025-10 is a subrecipient agreement with Franklin County, so this is related to the Frontier Harvest Fund and it's a subrecipient agreement. We've had one with the county before. We have ones with the town of Tupper Lake and town of Harrietstown right now. It's a grant program, as Rachel alluded to, that requires the municipality to be an applicant. And then through the agreement, all the money and responsibility comes to FCEDC. So by approving this resolution, you're authorizing me to execute that agreement with the county.
Very good. So we have resolution 2025-10 to authorize a subrecipient agreement with Franklin County with respect to Frontier Harvest. Could we have a motion to that effect to accept, please?
So moved.
Moved by Clyde, second by Nate. Any discussion? There being none, I'm assuming we're ready for a roll call vote. Go ahead, Rachel.
Gary
Roll
Bouyer,
call on 2025-10, sorry.
Yes.
Jim Ellis,
Yes,
Nate Manette,
Yes.
Clyde Revenue,
Yes.
Nick Russell.
Yes.
very good. Resolution 2025-10 is accepted. Second is resolution 2025-11 to approve grant administration agreement with the Foothills Art Society. Do we have a description?
This would be an agreement where we would provide grant administration services. The Foothills Art Society is applying for New York Main Street and downtown revitalization funds and do not have the expertise or capacity to administer those funds. And so this would allow us to do that on their behalf at a rate of $75 an hour. And this is similar to what we have in place with Pendragon Theater and Tupper Arts right now.
Very good. Do we have a motion to place resolution 2025-11 on for consideration to approve a grant administration agreement with the Foothills Art Society? Could we have a motion to place it on the floor, please? First by Nate, second?
Second.
Second by Nate, Nick, I'm sorry. Any further discussion? There being none, I'm assuming we're ready for the roll call vote. Go ahead, Rachel.
Gary Bouyer,
Yes.
Jim Ellis,
Yes,
Nate Manette,
Yep.
Clyde Revenue,
Yes.
Nick Russell.
Yes.
thank you. Next is resolution 2025-12 to authorize the submission of the Malone DRI funding request.
This organization has previously administered revitalization funds for the Saranac Lake DRI and currently doing it with the Tupper Lake DRI. And so we're excited that Malone got a DRI award, and we would like to submit to the review committee and the state a request to create the same kind of fund for Malone. And so the maximum amount you can apply for is $600,000. Of that, if it were awarded, I think, Rachel, what is the max administration funds is 10%?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's 60,000.
So
Yeah.
if we'd applied for 600,000, we would be able to use 60 of that for administration. So really, it's just doing the same thing we've already done for Saranac Lake and Tupper Lake. And it's just authorizing us to submit the request to the Village of Malone process.
Thank you. Could we have a motion to put resolution 2025-12 authorizing submission of the Malone DRA funding request on the floor, please? Motion to place it on the floor.
So moved.
Moved by Clyde, second by Nate. Further discussion? There being none, we'll assume we're ready for the roll call vote. Rachel?
Carrie Bouye,
Yes.
Jim Ellis,
Yes.
Nate Minette,
Yes.
Clyde Revenue,
Yes.
Nick Russell.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Any need for an executive session? There being none, we'll move on to public comment. Any public comment? There being none, we'll move on to consideration of adjournment with the date of next meeting being August 13th. Could we have a motion to adjourn
So moved.
the EDC meeting? Motion by Clyde, second. Second, hello? Second, Sherry. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.